She had spent the last few days at the school year camp with friends, but that had passed, and now, after a dreary hot day, she was waiting for the bus home. Then he appeared. He saw her lounging on the brick wall, waiting for the school bus. None of her usual friends surrounded her. "I've been toying with an idea. I think it is your fault." This school teacher was immensely fat. He had recently taken to writing in a bid to encourage her to read what he had written. He gave her editorial status, which roughly translated to listening to any opinion. The possibility of repartee was irresistible. She was very bored. And an almond eye glinted with mild interest. He brought up some camp gossip, and she spoke of the truth of it disinterestedly. Then she challenged him to get to the point. "Have you found out what you wanted to know?" He grinned. "I'm only making conversation." He grinned again. "I've been thinking. You know how I promised you that if you didn't like one of my characters, I would kill them? But if you liked them, I would give them a puppy? Well, it started me thinking. In one of my stories, I kill my sister. I thought that harsh, but she had to die because of the story. So I thought, and decided to award her a puppy. But then I realized what would have to happen. The puppy will be left alone without the mistress. The puppy will have to journey, perhaps exacting revenge or justice. It's a hard world for the very young on their own." The bus arrived, and he began to walk away from her. "I wanted to thank you for the idea, but it seems a bit harsh. Couldn't you have given me a kinder thought?" "Not my fault." She was satisfied with the repartee, but she needed to correct him before he walked away. He flashed another grin before going home. Puppies aren't taken immediately from their mother. The mother feeds them, but also instructs them in behavior. Mytzi didn't remember her mother, but she would always follow those lessons. Mitzi's earliest memories were of Mistress and Master. Both were young. Mistress liked dolls and to set scenes for play. Master liked rough play. It probably was unlucky that it turned out as it did, but then it might have been different and far less distressing, and Mytzi might be less than what others now know. Master never did everything that Mother and Dad asked. They would instruct him to play nicely, and one might not see all that nicely meant to Master. Master would lie on his belly facing Mytzi. A hand would stretch with fingers waving invitingly. Then the hand would grasp Mitzi's head above the snout. Mitzi's black ears would move from side to side as she struggled to free herself. She would snarl and nip cutely and ineffectively. Her snout was black with flecks of gray around the muzzle, giving the appearance of a permanent smile, while Mitzi's paws were white on black limbs, looking a lot like clean socks. When Master grabbed Mitzi's muzzle, the paws would rise to fend, but all Mytzi could do would paw at Master's hand, cutely. Mistress was a few years younger than Master. She loved to place Mytzi in among her dolls. Mytzi, with her white-tipped black tail wagging, with her black coat and white belly expanding and contracting with each short pant, looked cute. It was as if Mytzi participated in the dreams of Mistress. Together, the dolls took on life. Together, with Mistress, Mytzi had childhood play. It happened one day in high winter, when snow covered the world and Master had gone visiting friends and Mom and Dad were relaxing. He watching TV, she pottering around the kitchen. Mistress had Mytzi to herself in her room. It smelt of perfume and nails acrylic that accompany such as Mistress. She hummed as she played with the dolls. She hummed an old sad folk number. "My bonnie lies over the ocean. My bonnie lies over the seas. My bonnie lies over the ocean. Oh, bring back my bonnie to me." She'd arranged a male and female doll as friends, waiting by the ocean. She needed another male doll, and she knew where she would find it. Master was out visiting friends. He had this stupid but rugged-looking doll. It had a silly flashlight on its chest and various boys' toys. Dressed appropriately, this doll would be perfect as Bonnie, stepping from water into a tea party. Mytzi would be perfect as the faithful guard for the tea party. Mytzi would warn of giant monsters bent on interrupting tea parties. Mytzi would also have to be dressed. With everything present that Mistress needed, she started on her task of dress. She had tailored Mytzi with a tartan kilt and an open-breasted long-sleeved shirt. A wide-brimmed hat with a secured string collar completed Mytzi's uniform. She had stripped Master's doll and was proceeding with the wetwear when it happened. Mytzi became aware of it first. Mistress seemed to Mytzi to be removing the scent of Master from his toy, yet the scent was growing stronger, and another, additional scent that just seemed wrong accompanied it. Mytzi whined and looked at the door. Mistress misinterpreted the action. The story will begin soon, Mytzi. We'll relax with biscuits and tea while Hero Man apologizes for being overseas. It was Master. Master was outside the door looking in, only he didn't look a lot like Master. All who saw it later died, and so it was never reported thus. A leg was the first thing Mytzi saw, but not a normal human leg. Rather, it was a leg of a spider, if a 6-foot-tall beast can in fact be called a spider. 2 furry legs, and then 6 more. The legs supported an enormous abdomen, upon which was the torso and head of Master. The same face and hair, but Master didn't normally have the body of a spider, or 8 legs. Master approached, eyes fixed on Mistress playing with his doll. The look he gave wasn't of hatred, but it was unnatural and focused. Mytzi was sure that Master was paying her no heed, but she feared for Mistress. Mytzi launched forward, constricted by the clothing Mistress had put on her. Then, a spider's leg pinned the open shirt of Mytzi, so that Mytzi was momentarily trapped and had to wriggle free of her clothing. Mytzi glimpsed the face of Mistress. Before the hat obscured her view, Mistress seemed irritated and unaware of Master. When Mytzi freed herself, Master had gone. Mom was coming up the stairs to investigate Mitzi's yelps. Mistress's body was swinging from where it had been casually hung in the cupboard, lifeless. Mytzi followed his track out the back door. She could smell where he had been. She could also smell so many other things. It would have been confusing if she weren't so focused on tracking down Master. Then what? What would she do when she found him? What could she do? Mistress was gone. Mytzi chose not to focus on that. Mytzi didn't know what she would do when she tracked down Master, if she tracked down Master. Mistress was gone. Now Mytzi would find Master. Where had Master gone? He had disappeared in the bathroom. Mom saw him as he began to change into a large spider that began to shrink. Mom called for Dad to kill the spider, then followed Mitzi's call to Mistress's room. When Dad went to strike Master's spider's self with a newspaper, Mom's scream echoed in Mitzi's mind. Mom had found Mistress's body. Mytzi didn't know where Master had gone, but Mytzi could follow where Master had come from, and she felt certain he wasn't dead. The trail led out the back of the house and around to the front, the street. Mytzi had never been to the front of the house before. This evening, under the full moon, faced with the winter garden covered in snow, with cars on the bitumen road and the smell of the cursed Master, Mytzi forgot her confusion and focused on the task at hand. The road had been sanded, and either side of the bitumen the snow was black and iced. Occasionally, a car roared into view and out. Mytzi did not know what to make of these 9 animals with their bright, confusing eyes, and felt it best not to get too near. However, Master had crossed the street, and so Mytzi quickly did the same. Those enormous, bright-eyed beasts seemed to completely ignore her. The house Mytzi came to was magnificent, old, apparently deserted. The rusty ranch-style gate was open. Master and his friends had been this way. There was a bad smell here, like that which had accompanied Master. Mytzi left the tracks and circled the house. Master had not gone this way, but there was that smell there. Untrimmed bushes covered in white snow made a perimeter around Master's home. Mytzi followed this virgin path to the back door. She was unprepared for the sight or smell that greeted her. A black cat sat languidly on the cement stairway, which led to the back door. On one side was a long unused hose and tap. On Mitzi's side was a wooden door, which covered the entrance to a cellar. On that door was the horror scene of human bones. Master's friends made part of the scent. The full horror lay with the cat. It sat, preening. It was dead, but it sat, preening. Finally, the black cat looked in Mitzi's direction. "I've met your master." Mytzi, cold, exhausted, and scared, didn't know how to respond to that. The cat spoke again. "Why are you here?" "Master killed my mistress." "So?" Cat stood, tail almost erect, as if it sought balance while sauntering down steps. "You want him to kill her back to life?" Cat's teeth were yellow and sharp. "That can happen?" Mytzi had never heard a cat laugh before. The fight was as quick as it was serious. Cat had struck Mytzi across the side with open claws. Suddenly, without warning, Bloodied, Mytzi quickly scampered back and away. Snow stained red. Mytzi scampered away, and Cat didn't follow. Mytzi was blinded by pain. She felt herself moving through the bushes separating property. She heard those big animals with their bright eyes roaring on the road, indifferent to her pain. Bush and branch gave way to wood. Snow gave way to the foundationless-style dirt floors peculiar to barns and very old homes. This was a barn. It was a very big sound from a very large animal that had attracted Mytzi. In her fatigue and pain, Mytzi had seen toys of such beasts in Mistress's toy farm. It had an enormous rectangular body, supported by 4 legs, a large head and a little tail. Mistress would make moo sounds, but these were inadequate to describe the despairing, sad calls emanating from this beast. "Why are you crying?" Mytzi was in pain, but remembered her manners. If she could help, she would. "Why aren't you?" The reply startled Mytzi. Why wasn't Mytzi crying? Others might come to her aid against the dead cat. Mytzi realized she wasn't looking for a fight, but safety, and crying wouldn't be safe. "You feel safe, so you can cry?" It was a guess. "I am safe because my keeper is hungry. He feeds me and will not notice you, so you are safe here for the moment. My name is Adora." "Thank you, Adora. I'm Mytzi. I'm very tired. I would help you if I could. Grief will not go away. Tomorrow you can help rest." Mytzi didn't need a second invitation or wonder at the cryptic offer. Mytzi slept badly. Adora, chewing cud, refrained from mooing for a time, and the neighborhood seemed, if not peaceful, quiet. Mytzi woke, stretched, and instantly regretted it. The wounds had healed a little on her side, and she nuzzled and licked them clean. "It is near time," said Adora. "Time? You offered to help." "If I can." Mytzi felt a little timid. Adora laughed gently. "You can do this. A few days ago I calved, and my little one was taken from me. My keeper took him next door. I cannot go there. All I ask is that you take a little of my milk to him. Only a little." Adora helped Mytzi get the milk. Mytzi had to drink some as well, apologizing for not being able to carry much. "You only need a little, a reminder of me." The milk was warm to Mitzi's tongue and nourishing. The wound of yesterday now seemed less. Mytzi kept her mouth closed, breathing through her nostrils. She made her journey, but not before Adora thanked her, gravely and sadly. A mother's grief can be short, yet her duty is lifelong, and even then she may be called to service. "Give my love and my milk, and apologize for me, who wanted so much more." Now, as Mytzi entered this other, smaller barn, her mouth closed and forced to breathe through her nose, she discovered the grief of Adora. The barn's roof was A-framed, and the frame supported a horizontal post. Adora's calf was here, hanging upside down, skinned, gutted. Rope secured the calf to the horizontal pole through the loops that went between the bones and the lower limbs and wrapped so the bones wouldn't separate. Mytzi walked to the calf and released the milk from her mouth below him onto the floor to mix with his blood. "She loves you," Mytzi spoke to the corpse. "She is sorry she couldn't give you more." The smell of the drying corpse was unbearable. Mytzi left, but decided not to face Adora, who already knew the fate of her calf. Mytzi retraced her steps to Master's new house. She was more cautious than before, yet Cat awaited her. "You're still hurt. Why come back?" "You wouldn't understand, love. It was a game. They were sparring in much the same way Master would spar with Mytzi. There were no rules, and Mytzi knew she had scored well when Cat, feigning disinterest, began to groom. "Why don't you leave that house?" Mytzi wanted to widen the score. "It isn't as if you live there." The delivery was mild. Cat stopped grooming and hissed. "You can't leave, can you?" Mytzi wasn't really enjoying this, but she was trying to learn what was happening. Master would often corner Mistress and gloat. Master would then learn from Mistress things. He would learn about what she enjoyed, so he could stop it. He would learn about what she liked, so he could break it. It was all about power and having control. Only Master can leave, but if you come close enough, I can kill you. So Master keeps you as he would a faithful hound. Mytzi was beginning to enjoy the sparring, and Cat knew it. Cat rose, and with a flick of the tail walked away. This left Mytzi free to inspect the area around the house, but the house itself was off limits, because although Cat didn't show it, Cat watched Mytzi intently. The appearance of Master surprised Mytzi. He looked like an old man, and he smelled like Master and something else. Mytzi was horrified to realize part of the smell was Mistress and his friends. What Master said also surprised Mytzi. He was warning people, telling them to stay away because of the curse. Yet, people ignored him. Mytzi kept herself hidden from Master, watching. She didn't have to wait too long. In the evening, Master left the house and provided a third surprise for Mytzi. As he passed the gate, he became an enormous spider, just like when he killed Mistress. Without Cat to guard him, Mytzi got close to Master. This was how she learned the last horrible truth. Master didn't enjoy killing. In fact, he regretted it. But he was hungry. Mytzi too was hungry. She didn't want to go back to Mistress's house. As with the door, she didn't know how to face the grief. Master's house was near a restaurant. She discovered it when she heard a piano being played to the sad refrain. Last night as I lay on my pillow, last night as I lay on my bed, last night as I lay on my pillow, I dreamed that my Bonnie was dead. Mytzi discovered that this restaurant provided no protection for its scraps. Other pets from the neighborhood were in on the secret. It was there Mytzi learned how to fight. She resolved she would fight Master. 2 moons had passed. Winter had gone, and amid the desolation, Mytzi had learned all that she could. She had watched Master as he energetically and despairingly warned others of the curse. She had watched Master as he stood at his window overlooking the entrance, and watched the street at night. She heard Master beg his victims for an end to his curse. 3 times Mytzi had fought Cat. The wounds she earned were terrible. She hadn't meant to, but she had strayed near the house, perhaps too near. Now she decided to visit Adora. The bushes that separated the farm from Master's house were beginning to green, but the summer insects had not yet arrived. The cast barn looked disused, while Adora's seemed run down. "Thank you," said Adora simply. "You remember me? Grief never forgets, nor love. Can I help you? I want to kill Master. I want to lift the curse. So which is it?" Mytzi didn't understand Adora's question. "Do you want to kill the loser, or do you want to end the curse? You might not be able to do both." "I want to end the curse. What must I do?" "The keepers like to repeat things. Find out what should happen, but doesn't." Mytzi didn't understand this either. "The keepers repeat everything. Every day they take my milk. They open the door the same way. They feed me, stocking the same patch. They service me with a type of bull. They take my calves, selling the females. Everything they do, they repeat. Look to the house and see what they might do, but don't. That should end the curse." Mytzi looked at the house of the Master, wondering how it was different from the others. The chimney was like all the other houses in the neighborhood. There was a belfry at a nearby church. The windows and paint needed work, but so did other places. Cat had carrion in the back, but so did other places. Mytzi was stuck, but determined to follow Adora's advice. It was Master who provided the clue. He had discovered a real estate agent who wanted to live. The agent had suggested that selling the house might remove the curse. This sparked the interest of Mytzi, who became exhausted at her own powerlessness in the face of Master's slayings. "You only want to save your life. You would use your time to talk about me." No, I have a client who would be interested in your place. The belfry is unusual, but there is space they want. You don't have to kill me. I will sell it for you." The sale was arranged, and the agent's life was spared until the deal was closed. Master had apologized to the estate agent, but explained that it was essential no one knew the truth about him. Master didn't think the sale would save him, but hoped the curse would be lifted. It was night. Master sat downstairs before a fireplace. Mytzi watched Master intently. Cat watched Mytzi uninterestedly. Mytzi thought she knew what she had to do, but didn't know how she would achieve it. It involved getting past Cat, and she doubted she would do that without being hurt or killed. Master? Cat seemed concerned. Cat left its perch and went inside through a partially open front door. This was to be Mytzi's chance, and she hesitated for a moment before seizing it. Once inside, Mytzi saw some stairs directly ahead. On her left was a dining room with rotting food. On her right was the fireplace, Master, and the dead cat. Mytzi launched herself up the dusty stairs. Cat was trying to get Master's attention. Master's body had slumped in the chair, drink spilled by his side. Up the steps, a ladder led to the attic. Cat could be heard at the steps. Cat cried taunts. Mitzi climbed to the attic. Mitzi had this plan, yet she had no idea what to do. A belfry is many different things thrown together to achieve a result. A bell in a tower. Pulling on a rope can ring the bell. Once a bell is pulled, it gets easier to pull with the bell's swing. That first jolt is the hardest. Mitzi had grown and was quite tough for her young age, but as she bounded to the belfry pull and pawed at it, she discovered she might be inadequate to the task. Cat had entered the attic, yellow teeth bared, claws extended and hissing. Mitzi leapt and grabbed the bell pull with her teeth, and as Mitzi's weight fell onto the pull, through her teeth, the bell moved, but not far enough to ring the bell. Mitzi had leapt too high, and her feet weren't near the ground for purchase. She had her full weight on the rope, and the bell hadn't rung. She had only guessed that ringing the bell would lift the curse. Evidently the death of Master hadn't. Cat sized up the situation. No one got as far as you. No one ever worked out what to do. Cat shook its head admiringly. Mitzi growled, but held fast to the rope. It was supposed to be a coup de grace. Cat striking Mitzi across the exposed belly. Cat's claws penetrated the fur and opened the gut, but got caught on Mitzi's bone, and the weight of Mitzi, with the force of the strike, completed what Mitzi had set to achieve. The bell rung once, twice, 3 times, clearly, echoingly. At the nearby farm, Adora's grief broke, and she found forgiveness to her keepers. Nearby, a local restaurant manager found some strays, adopted them, and began donating to the animal shelter. Much of the house remained the same. The new owners moved in and had Master buried at the local church. The house was dusted and cleaned. It was some time before Mitzi was found, curled beneath the bell pull, wounded, but not beyond repair. Cat was nowhere to be found. As this is about Mitzi, and not the curse of that house, it didn't end there. A long time later, after Mitzi had become a hero for saving her adopted family from a fire, she rested at her new home, where she had played during the day. Mitzi awaited her evening walk. He was very tired, yet looking forward to being home. He didn't know it, but there was a medical reason for his tiredness that went beyond the fact that he had worked harder than most. Work was full, with a new job running an educational committee for television and an evaluative network for school leavers, and editing a prestigious journal. It was enough to tire anyone. At home, his depressed wife and 4 kids constantly fighting. His wife had recently burned down their house. Luckily, their sweet-natured dog turned hero and woke everyone, so that all lived without further injury from the fire. He suffered sleep apnea, and his noisy children, led by his wife, used to laugh as he restlessly dozed after getting home. They told him he sounded like the coffee percolator. Home was a quiet, well-placed house opposite a tree park that led to a golf course. An unusual boulder sided the front door. There was fighting inside. The youngest was in trouble and in bed. He had refused to stay with his older, sick sister on her way home from school that day. He had been told to stay with her, as she was afraid of a dog on the path to school. However, when he had walked with her, she would pay no heed to him, but stand at corners ready to run at any hint that the dog might appear. The oldest was trouble. Once he had gone to the community swimming pool looking for her. He found her in the presence of numerous boys playing cards. She had been the decision-maker in keeping Kittles, the sweet-natured stray dog that was actually named Mytzi once, long ago. The cost from the adventure for her and the second oldest, a brother, was that they would care for Kittles. Kittles had saved them from fire, but those two fought for the right to not have to walk the dog or feed it. Tired, he walked into the house. His wife was delighted that she could give a report card on the day's shortfalls by the children. He was too tired to walk Kittles, and the kids wouldn't, so he let Kittles out of the house to get some exercise. She can walk herself, and if she gets hit, it will be your fault. The oldest thought that unfair, as the depressed mother had manipulated events to make things worse. A 5-year-old boy was never going to lead their 7-year-old sister from school. An 11-year-old girl left to her own devices was always going to trade off tasks with her 9-year-old brother. Mitzi left home and crossed the street to her tree park. Sometime later, returning home, her heart beating fast, tired but happy, Mitzi crossed the street again. Someone was playing a tune on their piano, old and sad. Oh, blow ye winds over the ocean, and blow ye winds over the sea. Oh, blow ye winds over the ocean, and bring back my Bonnie to me. Crossing the street this time, a large beast with bright eyes appeared to Mytzi's side. Those lights were confusing. Mytzi couldn't see behind those eyes. She thought of moving back or forward, but those eyes seemed to follow. The impact was loud. Everyone at home heard it. The 11-year-old found Mytzi on the doorstep. Mytzi, in her confusion, had gone home. He was tired. The accident had stopped his dozing. He got the three oldest together so that Mytzi might be buried that evening in the backyard. He asked the youngest if he wanted to be there, but the youngest feigned sleep, having been beaten earlier, and not wanting to be responsible for anything else. My Bonnie lies over the ocean. My Bonnie lies over the sea. My Bonnie lies over the ocean. Oh, bring back my Bonnie to me. Last night as I lay on my pillow, last night as I lay on my bed, last night as I lay on my pillow, I dreamed that my Bonnie was dead. Bring back my Bonnie to me, to me. Bring back my Bonnie to me. Oh, blow ye winds over the ocean, and blow ye winds over the sea. Oh, blow ye winds over the ocean, and bring back my Bonnie to me. The winds have blown over the ocean, the winds have blown over the sea. The winds have blown over the ocean, and brought back my Bonnie to me. Bring back my Bonnie to me, to me. Bring back my Bonnie to me. Sometimes a conversation has to take place, but it isn't easy to wait to let it happen. He'd considered several different ways in which it would happen, even avoided a few. Then one day he found himself walking past the bus stop after school. She was entertaining a few friends, but stopped as he approached, and they stood facing each other a moment, awkwardly. "I've been meaning to talk to you about that story." He started. He knew many different directions the conversation might go, but waited to allow her to direct. "Wow, that was a really good story you wrote." The compliment felt good for him, but he needed to clear the air, and she wasn't the maudlin type. "Mytzi was special to me. I wrote her based on a puppy I once had, although Kittles wasn't the type to chase monsters and bring them to justice, unless she had to. That last was a joke. Mytzi came into being because of you. I wanted to thank you, and I wanted to say that it isn't your fault, but something to have pride in. Mytzi was a remarkable puppy." He began to move off, promising her that he would sign her copy if it became published.